Hi, you guys. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, nice
Nice
to
to
talk to
talk to
you. How
you.
are you? Of
I'm awesome. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
course.
So, the country club is filled with famous aliens. Who is your favorite famous aliens other than the solar opposites?
Oh, wow, that's tough. I mean, I love E.T. He's my favorite little friendly
He's
alien.
probably number one, right?
Yeah, he's a good alien. And then I like Spock, classic Vulcan alien. And then if I had to go like a creepy crawly alien, I'd probably go the Thing from the movie The Thing, Just
And
a
I
guy
think
that can really pop open your chest and turn your head into a spider. Like, that's a classic alien.
we forgot one that that from our childhood that I had all the comic books. I don't know if you guys remember, I had all the Alf comic books.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
There
I
were
love
Alf
it.
comic books, and I went home like my mom was moving out of her house. I don't know how she ended up with it after my parents got divorced. Yes, I'm a child of divorce. It's okay. And I remember she was like, "Do you want these?" And I, for a second, I was like, "I need to keep them. They're going to be worth
Got
something." And then I did not keep the Alf comic books.
do you regret it?
Yes,
it. I
it
used
would
to
be
watch the
my,
cartoon too.
yeah. So Alf is up there too, and I love Predator. We're big Predator fans as well.
Predator's awesome.
Yeah.
Predator's
How
awesome.
do you decide what everyone was going to turn into for Halloween, and then what did you decide their ultimate Halloween costumes were going to be?
It's so funny. We knew that Korvo wanted to turn into the pumpkin because it was the sequel to the Great Pumpkin stuff. And then Terry being a ghost just made me laugh because we specifically said like a little Casper style ghost with a little tail and you could see through him. It just felt like there were a lot of fun jokes with that. With the replicants, um, we waffled on the sexy cat stuff because it was so funny to us, but we didn't want it to feel gross, and ultimately it was funny enough that it made sense.
He
And
is so funny playing that. We actually had to re-record him. He was almost too sexy, I
he was
would
too
say,
sexy.
Mike.
We had to re-record the whole thing. We were like, all right, dude, it was sold too much so. And then for Sean Jambroni. And then for Mary Mac, we kind of have always loved like Teen Wolf sort of stuff, like werewolf stuff. So that was pretty easy for us too, because we knew it would be funny to hear her saying Teen Wolfy kind of werewolf stuff with her Minnesota accent. So that's kind of how that all came about.
Yes. So when they throw stuff in the cauldron, it was stereotypical, like chaotic Halloween stuff. How did you decide what was going in the cauldron, especially the vote for a Pedro shirt? And did you have a vote for Pedro shirt at one point in time?
We did see a lot of vote for Pedro shirts in our day, and it's actually the second time that Cauldron has come into the show. They're always
Yes.
casting stuff into it. Um, we were just trying to think of what are the most iconic, understandable Halloween things that aren't necessarily as broad as like an evil witch or a jack-o'-lantern. What else did we
Yeah.
throw in that cauldron, Josh? Do you remember?
Some I don't remember. I because I've yeah.
Pennies.
Oh,
Pennies that you
Um,
used to hang out at your house for
yes.
for Halloween instead of candy
That
because your parents told you that you were allergic to sugar.
that was what we that I did when I was a kid. My parents told me allergic to sugar. They made me take out a UNICEF can to get donations. And I can tell you something, I'm a little older than you guys. In the late 80s, people were not having that. They're like, just take a fucking Reese's, kid.
People are still not having it.
No, they're not.
do you think Thanksgiving is more jealous of Halloween than, say, Christmas?
I
Oh,
think Thanksgiving is jealous of both, but I
yes.
think Thanksgiving always thought that Christmas was like the big brother, and I would never going to be able to overtake the big brother, but I never thought the little brother Halloween was going to overtake me, and now Halloween has become so big that poor Thanksgiving with its troublesome past and sort of like one that sneaks up on you is now being squeezed, and so I think it's more jealous of Halloween.
Yeah, I think that Thanksgiving, if it had to target a holiday, that it kind of thought Halloween might be an easier one to prey on because it's like Halloween is already getting safer and safer. Like there's trick or trunking now, or trunk or treating, or whatever it's called, where it's like all the kids go to school and they like do the trick or treating and the safety of going to different other kids'
Right.
parents' trunks, and like I think that like
You're saying taking candy out of the trunks, not going into their trunks, because that would be different, Mike.
they don't go into the trunks, but people decorate their trunks. And I sort of think like Halloween used to be more like there was like mischief night and like people were throwing eggs and like kids were just owning the night. And I think it's a lot more careful now. And so, you know, Halloween is still fun, but adults have kind of taken it over. It's like adult Halloween parties and like, you know, Huluween, like, oh, I'm an adult. I'm gonna watch all the Hulu Halloween shows and I'm gonna get together and watch scary movies. And it's like, you know, Halloween used to belong solely to kids and dirty, nasty teens, and now it's like an adult thing. So I think Thanksgiving is kind of eyeing Halloween for that, being like, oh, Halloween has got knocked down a peg. It used to be more wild, and maybe I can kind of take it while it's weak, you know?
Yeah. We see that Korvo makes his Halloween wish, and I feel like his Halloween wish was to make everyone else happy. I feel as if since he's gotten married and also hit with the Cheers dart, that he's become way more giving. Is that something you guys have, maybe not intentionally does, but this has just been kind of the evolution of Korvo, that he thinks of the whole instead of just himself?
I think that like Corvo was always having a hard time modulating what being the boss was versus what being included in the family meant. And that over time, you know, you'll especially see a couple seasons ago when he started, like when he became a train and when he was doing the standing in line stuff, that like the little barriers of like, I'm the mission leader, I'm important because I'm the boss, started to get swapped out with I want to have fun too, but the mission is still important to him. And that like he's always trying to find a balance of like his bossy, grouchy alien self, along with loving Terry, having fun, getting to eat junk food too. And like, what I like is that, you know, I think by this season, you do get to see him doing both. He does get to be the kind of like, this sucks alien. You know what I mean? He still gets to be himself, but he also gets to be included more often. He's not being left out like in the Magic episode. You know what I mean? Like, because he's dropped a little bit of his gnarly, grouchy sort of, you know, how he started when they crash landed on Earth. And it makes it more fun to write him too. That he's like, you know, it's more available for us to have him be like, no, we're not gonna do that. Fuck that. I don't give a shit about that. And then Terry will be like, but it's gonna be fun. And then Korvo can just be like, okay, fine, we'll do it. You know what I mean? Like it's more fun, but I won't like it. And then he's there and he's having fun. It's fun to see a curmudgeon kind of like get to have the fun but complain about it at the same time. It's pretty relatable.
And I think Dan as the voice, like it just opened up some different avenues that we hadn't had before, and different modulations. And you know, I think the British piece of it is funny because it can be very, very stodgy and very businesslike and very unemotional. And so Dan can do that in a really funny way, but then he can also turn and do the emotional stuff really well too, because he's like a movie star.
Yes, and he's just in general a very happy person. I talked to him last week. He's just a very just happy down person. So that's
and he's in every single movie ever made this year.
Yes, he really is.
Yeah, he does bring a lightness to it that's very fun. He can play the grouchy, but then like when he gets excited, there's a sweetness to it that Dan plays, which is really cute.
Yeah.
Are you guys I won't say surprised, but how does it feel like the fan feedback of what they call Tervo? Like people love Tervo.
I mean, it's not surprising. We love Tervo. You know, there's a reason that we're not going around being like, what does the audience want? We wouldn't be making Solar Opposites. We're having fun, you know, and giving people stuff they didn't even know they wanted. But I like that people are into Tervo because we are too. It just felt like a natural thing to us. And like seeing people celebrate it, like, you know, I think we've sneakily done something that no other show has a relationship like this as the main featured thing in the show. And then the show is both about that and really not about it. That like they're not defined by being in a same-sex relationship. They're defined by being funny individuals that happen to be in love. And I think that like a lot of the time when you're doing a show or when you're writing stories about this kind of stuff, that like the message can kind of take over a little bit. But like in real life, that people are just people and they can be funny or grouchy or wrong or right or whatever, that like it's very freeing to write a show where, because it's animated, because they're aliens, nobody is doubting that they love each other. You know what I mean? Like it gives us the freedom to kind of like tell stories about these characters that feel real and feel familiar to people, that's their life experience, you know, and they get to have a funny show that doesn't have to be a man and a woman. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm actually surprised there aren't 100 shows like this, because it's really easy and fun to write. It's totally natural, and it feels really honest, and it's the most grounded aspect of a show about aliens that can do weird, crazy things. This is one of the things that isn't weird or crazy about them. It's totally normal. And so yeah, I love that people love the Tervo-ness of them, and I just love Tervo too. I'm hashtag Tervo. I love
Kervo too.
Tervo 2 cruise control. I think like I like these characters so much. We like writing them. Like we love working with the actors. So like the fact that it's working for people and that they like it is just, it's really satisfying. It's cool.
Awesome. And if you could do another holiday, what's another holiday you guys would love to do?
Man, I want to do a Christmas sequel, but we got to figure out what that is. There's so many fun holidays we could do. We could do St. Patrick's Day. We could do like a little local. I always joke about this local Chicago holiday called Kazimir Pulaski Day, which we could do, and Hulu would be like, why are you doing this? You know.
Yeah, we've talked about, obviously, because they're plants, Arbor Day would be fun.
Election Day, Josh. Election Day.
Oh yes. We have a little in an episode in season 6, we do a little possibly July 4th action.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think that one's interesting too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to talk to you about next season and other projects.
Thank you.
Let's do. Next season is really fun. We just saw another hilarious rough animated episode of season 6 that I'm like, this is the one we have to show at Comic-Con this next year. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But you guys are gonna love it. It's a great season.
Awesome. I hope to see you at Comic-Con too. So great. I will talk to you then.
Talk to you then.
Okay, awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.